Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Wild Mystics. My name is Barbara Moore, and I'm here with my friend.
I'm Charles Harrington and I like tarot. So Barbara, one of the words you hear over and over and over and over again with mystical people and mystical types and weirdos is liminal. Liminal, everything's that's so liminal. I've had a liminal experience. And it's used pretty broadly. And I don't know how much people explore it beyond just sort of like the initial sensation that something might be liminal. And this, we cared about this so much, we've given keynotes about it twice now at tarot events. So tell us a little bit about why the liminal is important for tarot readers and oracles and weirdos.
Mm, shall I begin by telling a story?
Sure, that's very liminal of you.
Yes. So once upon a time, I was a person in college. And I can't say a young person because I was not a young person in college. I was a non-traditional student. At any rate, I was in college and I was studying with a friend of mine who we were good students together, but he was not into anything woo-woo at all, just so you know. And while we were doing the reading, my roommate's dealer came by to drop off something, and he knew that I did readings, and so we just say, want to do a reading for me? And I was a pretty new reader. Yeah, sure, come on in. Did the reading, and after he left, my friend John asked me, well, why did you do the reading like that? I did it the way people were doing it in the 90s, which was a very psychological approach, very down to earth, very almost business-like. And while John and I, we studied medieval history together, so we had a shared language, like including the word liminal, because when you study the cathedrals and whatnot, you learn that they're designed to create a specific experience that helps the person step outside of themselves and connect with something else, something other. And John said, well, if you would have made that experience more mysterious, it or just like more, just yeah, more different, more mysterious, it would have helped him get in the mood to receive what you were saying better. I'm like, oh, John, we don't do that. We don't read like that anymore. Modern readers, we are very, cut and dried and very obvious, and we explain everything. And it's true, that's how we did it. And well, Charles, you know why it was like that in the early 90s, right?
There was just a fear of hocus pocus.
Hmm.
Um, nothing to do with the movie coming out, but there was this sort of sense that tarot needed to be respectable. Of a decade and some change before then, some esteemed tarot readers like Mary Greer and Rachel Pollack had worked very hard, and others, and many others, too many to name, perhaps you, dear viewer, had been working to expand tarot beyond just fortune telling, using it just as a tool for predicting future events. And tarot became more psychological, more of an exploration, more based on feelings and desires and our inner various versions of ourselves.
Hmm.
And that's wonderful, but the pendulum can swing too far.
It can. It can. And in fact, one of the people who helped bring in and usher in the psychological age, Rachel Pollack herself, in the early 2000s, recognized the pendulum swinging too far. And she wrote an article in a tarot publication at the time, Llewellyn's Tarot Reader. She wrote an article called Toward a New Tarot. And she talked about how the psychological movement rescued tarot from fortune telling, but now maybe tarot needs to be rescued from the psychological approach because we've lost a lot of the mystery and a lot of the magic. And we might be, and there are good things that came of that movement, very good things, but as we talked about in our workshops, we threw out a lot of babies with that bathwater.
We did. So I think a lot of tarot, once you get into the tarot scene, one of the fun things to do is make fun of some of the old taboos that tarot readers had. And I think this was a part of the broadening of tarot. So in olden times, we were told we had to wrap our tarot cards in black silk and sleep with them under a pillow. You had to read with a deck given to you by someone else. There was a lot of, you can't read for yourself, different things that aren't very helpful as superstitions go. But what that resulted in was the sense that you're supposed to just place your cards down on a bare table and not say do anything else in order to conduct a proper tarot reading.
There were even articles written in, smaller newsletters and things back in the day about how to dress for doing a reading. Like we were encouraged to wear like business casual. It was kind of a short-lived phase. Luckily, it was pretty short-lived.
I'm guessing Hawaiian shirts weren't anywhere on the list.
Not on the list, man.
Oracle wear. Oh well. So what can happen though when you bring in just a little bit of the liminal is a letting down of the guard for the querent and for the reader. And we set aside our usual ways of thinking and we allow ourselves to be a little more unusual and a little more expansive. Is that fair to say?
Yes. I mean, and I've told you this many times, but sometimes it's fun to take on the aspect of like a fake reader, and you have a fake reader persona that I love, and
Yes.
you do reading for me, and that persona, they are a cut above and a little to the left of what I'm used to. And so they're really good. They do open things up, which is what you come to tarot for. Something different, right? I mean, we can get a logical pro and con list with just a sheet of paper. We don't need the tarot for that. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we're going to explore this over a couple videos, but one thing that to get someone going, how do you begin to make your tarot readings a little more liminal? I recommend just giving yourself a little ritual that you do at the beginning of each one. And by ritual, I just mean some little operation that you do to begin a reading. It can be very simple. Before shuffling the card, one of mine, if I have to do something very quick, one of mine that I like to do is I like to have a tarot deck. I like to place my tarot cards over my heart, and then I just say, open my eyes that I might see. Open my heart that I might understand. And then we begin the reading. And there are many, many more, but just that little moment, it opens me up to the divine, and it probably opens the querent up to the divine. Because querents have people they can go to for common sense advice. They are, and we'll get into why people come to tarot readers in a future video, but they've come for something a little more magical when they want tarot.
We'll have, and in the future episodes, we'll have more ideas of how to bring little touches, easy, simple little touches that invite the liminal into the readings. We don't want to say them all now because we need to wrap up, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Barbara, until next time, Fortuna et Gloria.
Fortuna et Gloria.